And now he's playing with a point to prove again because the media's built something up into something it shouldn't have been. We just seem to lose all the rhythm that we had against Crystal Palace, against a team that I don't think is any better than Crystal Palace, and we're playing at Old Trafford. But on top of that, we didn't get Xerxes into the game, and Bruno was a bloody ghost, to be honest. He was a ghost. And, you go back again and you've got to say, the manager should have made changes quicker than he did. I don't think we needed wait. I personally, when did the goal go in for them? And can I just talk about that goal, by the way? My God. Bloody hell. I mean, shit a brick. It was absolutely embarrassing. There needs to be the Titanic music where it goes, you're here. It was just absolutely comical defending. It starts off in the right back position. Rashford gets bullied off. Bruno decides he doesn't fancy it. Martinez, in fairness, can't fancy it because he's on a yellow card. Maguire just sort of goes backwards in a star jump. Agate comes across and makes a great tackle. Eriksen, for some reason, thinks he's got all the time in the world. He thinks he's Louis Armstrong and gets tackled. Then they run through. He puts it in the near post, and I think Onana's going to save it. And he does a bloody FIFA goalkeeper glitch. Just lets it. I mean, literally 6 players in our team could have stopped that goal. Onana could have stopped it. Eriksen could have stopped it. Maguire could have stopped it. Martinez could have stopped it. Bruno could have stopped it. And Rashford could have stopped it. I mean, at some point, it doesn't matter whether it's Ollie in charge, Ten Hag in charge, or Sir Alex in charge, or Pep Guardiola in charge. You can't coach that. That was just the world's shittest goal, assisted by 6 of our players. It was awful. And I'm not saying that Twente didn't deserve to get a point, but we should never concede that goal. It's absolutely abysmal. And you know what? That worries me because that reminds me of last season. That sort of shit reminds me of last season. And it should never happen. One of those players has got to put a tackle in, and I'd line them all up and I'd shout at all of them if I was Ten Hag. But individual mistakes are going to get Ten Hag sacked. Look, Gino, I think if he took Bruno off in the 65th minute for Mount and we'd kept knocking on the door and we'd drawn 1-1, we'd be talking more about that goal. But ultimately, it's going to get overshadowed by the fact that everybody knows that he got that. I'm starting to calm down a little bit, but when you see Eriksen shaking his head when he's going off, you know. When you hear the crowd jeering Bruno's every misplaced pass, you know. And when you see this chat bombing off, and when you're in your own heart, you're like, I said this on Saturday. I literally said on Saturday, he's got to start taking Bruno off. We were at the press conference yesterday. Beth's question, which she didn't get to ask, was going to be, you've rotated players out. There's been a lot of talk about it. Bruno Fernandes, is he a player that you will sub? That was going to be the question. To sort of put it on the manager that everybody in this fan base is confused by why you won't sub this player off. Because it's damaging. It's damaging. I don't care whether your name is Lisandro Martinez, Rasmus Højlund, or Bruno Fernandes. If you start the game and it hits the 60-minute mark and you're not playing well, you must be taken off. It's simple. Jurgen Klopp would do it with Mo Salah. He did do it with Mo Salah. Ainge does it with Son. Pep does it with his players. What is it that Bruno Fernandes has that Salah doesn't have? And what is it that Ten Hag thinks he's got that Jurgen Klopp didn't have? If somebody is not performing in your shirt, you take them off. And here's the big win with it. If you take them off and the crowd applauds you for doing it, that player gets humiliated and gets a huge kick up their arse. And as they come off, and look, is Ten Hag scared of Bruno? Are we actually in a situation where we've got a player in the dressing room that's, he's scared of? Is he scared of losing Bruno? Is he scared that when Bruno comes off, the petulance is going to be there. He's going to be shaking his head. He's going to be going off in the dressing room, and Ten Hag's going to lose the dressing room. Because if that is the case, we've got an even bigger problem, because that's a problem for the next manager as well. So this guy has got to be subbed off. This guy, if he's not performing well, has to be held to account like everybody else is. Rashford gets held to account. Xerxes gets held to account. Maguire gets held to account. Everybody gets held to account. He's got to be held to account. You know, honestly, I like the player. I really do. I really wanted us to buy him. But maybe it's an age thing. But I'm absolutely stunned that this player is in a position of that much influence that the manager won't sub him. And yet I've seen the greatest manager we've ever had sub some of the greatest players we've ever had. I've seen him drop Beckham. Yeah, I mean, he kicked a bloody boot at him. If we want to be a big football club, then everybody gets on board and everybody realises that you get subbed. We will never win games with Onana as our keeper, says Constantine. I'm not even going to say anything about... Well, I am going to say something about Onana because I'm going to do the player ratings now. How many times do we have to wish Bruno to be subbed until we realise he's not good enough, says Alex. Mate, I'm going to say it again, that formation, bad decisions, bad subs, this is all means he's a bad manager, says K1. Erik Ten Hag is on borrowed time. He'll be sacked if his woeful tactics persist. I feel for the club, says Ganson. Said to my mate, this draw hurt me in my belly, but it's because I thought we were really good. One mistake ruined it, and I knew the negativity would blow up, says Super. Who are the armband and organises the team when Bruno comes off? I don't think anyone else has the leadership, says Andrew. Mark, we're still waiting on open heart surgery, says Chris. That game felt really like it was last season in the Champions League, says Jordan. This team isn't done being bad yet. A long way to go, says Eves. Genuine question, do you think Ten Hag lasts the season, says Arthur? I can't answer that. I can't answer that because I want him to. I don't want to see another rebuild. I think it will cost us too much money. I don't want to see another rebuild. But what I've said a few times is don't underestimate the fact that they can just get rid of him and throw Ruud in. They could just go Ten Hag to Ruud van Nistelrooy like that. I don't know whether that's a good thing, but they could just do that. That's the danger he's got this season. I don't think we'd see... Hopefully we wouldn't see a Southgate coming in or a Tuchel coming in, because that would be a rebuild. I desperately don't want to see a rebuild. I don't want to see Tuchel come in and go, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you, I want you. We can't do that. That's a bloody nightmare. I'll fight anything to stop that happening. I do not want another rebuild. I don't want another manager that comes in and goes, I don't like that player. That would be awful. But there is the option of Ruud. And look, I don't want Ten Hag to get sacked. I want it to work. I think we played well against Palace, and obviously it was only Barnsley and Southampton apparently, but we lost tonight because 6 players fucked up. I don't think they were going to score a goal. I can't remember a good chance they had. Look, we weren't great, but we drew because of a stupid set of errors that should not be happening in a Man United shirt, no matter who the manager is. And actually, we weren't dreadful. It wasn't as good as Saturday, but we weren't dreadful. We were just a bit disjointed. It wasn't a shit performance. It's a shit result. I can't hide from that. And as I said after Brighton, I don't know why people get confused by this. Adamantly don't want him to get sacked. Adamantly want him to do well. But I tell you what, when you personally, and you're probably the same as me, when you're saying, I want this guy to stay, I want him to do well, and he's letting you down, you're going to get more angry than the people who are saying, just get rid of him. Like, I can see what he's doing. He's sacking himself, and it's very frustrating, and that's why I don't want him to get sacked. I want him to do well. But I'm like, you're not doing the things to keep yourself in a fucking job. You're not doing the things to give yourself a chance, mate. You're not giving yourself a chance. You're making bad decisions. And guess what? If you don't believe me and other fans who are saying the same thing, we've seen this film before. We saw it with Ollie. We saw it with Mourinho in year 3. You know, poor performance and we might lose Old Trafford. Who'll be scared of us, says Ryan Piper. Right, let's get on with the player ratings. So I'm just going to refresh this. Well, I didn't really want to talk about Onana, if I'm being completely honest, but I'm going to have to. because we've got to do the player ratings. For me, it's a 5. And I'll tell you why. If you wait long enough, what's that saying from Batman? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And in football, it's true. You're only as good as your last game. And if you were a hero in the last game, it won't be long till you're the villain. I think that, Onana is not Batman. He's a bit, Pratman tonight, because I wish he was Spider-Man, Amari. Look, I did a video a couple of weeks ago, and some people agreed with it and some people disagreed with it. But I didn't pull it out my arse. It was, it's been about 2 months in the making, whether to do it or not, and to make sure it's researched properly. And basically the video was, I want him to do well, and I want us to use him properly. And I think tonight was the sort of Jekyll and Hyde of Onana. His ball distribution was really good. But oh my God, I don't need Ben Foster to analyse that goal. He literally moves to that side when the player's on that side to give him the space to go there. It's dreadful positioning. Dreadful positioning. And look, Eriksen fucks up. Rashford fucks up. Bruno fucks up. Maguire fucks up. There are other people who make mistakes. But as a goalkeeper, how many times over the years has David De Gea or Peter Schmeichel or Van der Sar made a worldy save when other people have made a mistake? A goalkeeper can't hide behind other people's mistakes. You're there to save. What does save mean? Rescue. You're there to rescue us from mistakes. You can't move your body to the right thinking he's going to shoot that way when he's on that side. Look, 9 times out of 10, people probably do shoot that way. But you can't leave your front post. It's your goal. Mistake. 5 for me. Look, Mazraoui, I said he'd always be a consistent 7. I thought he was a consistent 6 tonight, to be honest. In a bad side, he's still consistent, isn't he? Just a very, very, very capable defender. And, funnily enough, 6 of our players cost a goal and one of them wasn't Mazraoui. I wish it had come down his side because I think he would have stopped it. Hans says you're too harsh on Onana. Mate, I give him a 5. I give him a 5 because he defended the goal shit. Like I said, his distribution was good. If you think that's harsh, look, I'm not going to do this anymore, right? All these people saying you're an Onana hater. I gave him a 7 at the weekend. I gave him a 7 the game before that. I've given him a 5 because his positional sense as a goalkeeper is horrific. It's horrific. If that guy puts it in the other corner, I've got a problem with it. But getting done on your front post because you've shifted your body weight across, it's crap goalkeeping, I'm sorry. It's crap goalkeeping. If you can defend him, you can like him. I want him to do well, but, everyone's going to rinse Maguire because he did a starfish impression instead of tackling him. Everyone will rinse Rashford because he didn't, he's too weak stopping the ball going through. Everyone will rinse Bruno because he didn't put a tackle in. But we're going to defend the goalkeeper because he made a bloody mistake. Come on, grow up. He got a 5. Then give him a 3. Wait for Bruno. Maguire for me is a 5. Look, I get the rotation, but it changed the way we play. Too many long balls, not enough pace. The tackle in the goal was dreadful. Apart from that, I probably would have given him a 6. But same as Onana for me. I don't think he did anything massively wrong. It was a very average performance, but he's played a massive part in the goal. It was terrible. Both teams 3 shots on targets as Robert. Martinez, I thought I'd probably give a 5.5. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'd like to give him a 6, but he was part of the goal that went in as well. In defence of Martinez, he is on a yellow card. And I think he would normally make a tackle, but he knows what happens there, doesn't he? So, I think a 5.5 is what's going to happen. Look, Dalot for me was a 6. He had a big part to play in the goal. His energy is relentless, and he's a massively important player for us. And again, a little bit like Mazraoui, I think he's a ridiculously consistent player for us. unfortunately, that goal came down his side, but he's got nothing to do with it, has he? But I'd give Delo a pass as I'd give Mazraoui a pass tonight. I don't think in any way, shape or form they did anything wrong. I think Ugarte would get a 6 for me as well. He nearly stopped that goal, to be fair. He was the only one who put a tackle in. There was a few misplaced passes from Ugarte tonight. Definitely a few. But tackling wise and covering the ground, I think he had a good game, so I'd give him a 6. It's a shame. I'll give Eriksen a 6 actually, because the mistake is just, everyone's going to remember that. But I think he, in fairness to Eriksen, I think his mistake is masked by the fact that everybody else made massive mistakes in that goal as well. And look, I've said about Eriksen, he is going to cost us a goal. If you play him, I don't know about you, but I think Eriksen should play as the 10 and Mainu and Ugarte should play as the 6 and the 8. I think that's the logical thing for Spurs. It won't happen because a certain somebody will have to start. But I think if this was Pep Guardiola or this was Mikel Arteta, the obvious midfield for Spurs is Ugarte, Mainu and Eriksen. Because Eriksen's playing well, Ugarte gives you the defensive cover, and Mainu is probably our best midfielder, balance-wise. So that should be our midfield 3. And I think that's why Eriksen was pissed off when he got took off. But it won't be. It won't be. One of Ugarte, Mainu and Eriksen will have to be on the bench for Spurs to accommodate Bruno. Oh, God. 3. And I'm not even joking. It was absolute pants, and I hate doing it because I think he is such an important player for us. But the last 2 games have been abysmal. But Palace was probably a 5. This was just abysmal. He wasn't in the game, and then I don't. It's not fair. I don't even want to say anything else. It was just bad. It was really bad. There was literally virtually nothing. I mean, the one positive was that shot he had that nearly went in, but that needs to go in. Nearly's not good enough. You've got to score in that situation. Ahmad, 6 for me. I think that, look, it depends how you do this. Like, some people, just because it's a bad result, they get really moody and they're like, I'm going to let the world burn. Everyone's going to get a shit score. But the way I look at it is what's Ahmad got to do with the goal that gets conceded? Nothing. If we win that game 1-0, are you going to give Ahmad a 5? No, it was average. There was some good bits. There was some, average bits. I don't agree with giving people are saying Ugarte should get a 4.5. Why? He made loads of tackles. He misplaced a few passes, but he made loads of tackles. Eriksen should get a 5 because he made one mistake. His passing was good. He scored a goal. Ahmad should get a 5 because he had nothing to do with the equaliser. He had a very average performance. 6 is average. I don't think it was poor. Up to you, though. I'd go 6 with Ahmad. Rashford, 6 from me. Again, I don't think... I thought he was lively in the first half. I think he drifted in the second half. I think, if you want to analyse Ahmad and Rashford collectively, what they do that Garnacho doesn't is they do run into blind alleys a little bit. They'll go past one. Look at that bit of skill from Rashford in the first half. But we see it quite a lot with Ahmad and Rashford. They'll go past one player, but then they'll lose it, or the final ball won't be good enough, etc. So we just need but I don't think Rashford or Ahmad were below average. I thought they were just average. I thought they were lively without end product. Now, Xerxes, I probably would give a 5.5 to. I just don't think we got him in the game. I don't think it's always... And look, I think it's a different story with Xerxes because it's the graveyard shift. I don't think it always works out for the Man United forward. We've seen it with Rasmus, Ronaldo, Martial, Rashford. Up front for Man United can be a graveyard shift. I don't think we got the ball into him. He's not really an out-and-out goal scorer. We need to get the ball into his feet, and we didn't do it. Now, I think there's a very interesting conversation to be had that Bruno occupies the same positions that Xerxes wants to occupy. It's a bit like England when you've got Kane dropping into the areas that Bellingham and Foden want. And at the moment, I think Xerxes wants to drop in and get the ball, but Bruno's there. So, you need a focal point. You need somebody to push the defensive line back. If we're going to play Bruno, you've got to play Rasmus. If you're going to play Xerxes, you need to play Rasmus. You need to play. You can't have two people dropping in and nobody getting in behind. And it didn't work tonight. And to be honest, if I was the manager of Twente, I'd do the same thing. It's like, if they want to drop off, let them go. Let them go. Because they defended well tonight, I thought. Mainu off the bench, 6. I thought he did well off the bench. I thought Mount did well off the bench. I thought Garnacho did well off the bench. And I thought Rasmus did okay off the bench. I'm not giving any of them anything lower than a 6 because, to be honest with you, I thought that they gave us something in the last 20 minutes. And I thought Rasmus, Mainu and Mount were brought on way too late. Which leaves me with Ten Hag. And honestly, I've got to give a man of the match. Shite. Who would be my man of the match then? Bloody hell. Well, I'm going to give it Mazraoui. Yeah, I'm going to give it Mazraoui. It's Mazraoui or Delo for me. Slim pickings, isn't it? Erik Ten Hag, look, I don't want to be silly. We've drawn a game 1-1 where we never should have conceded that goal. But not subbing Bruno, I'm going to give him a 4. I think 3 is ridiculous. Come on, we've drawn a game of football. We weren't terrible in the way that we played. And we conceded a stupid goal that nobody can blame the manager for. But the Bruno thing is just baffling. And the big enduring thing for me, if I'm being completely honest here, is that he knew it. And I'm going to drop it out there. I'm just going to say it. Because if you don't say it, you think it. And, what I do, there's no point in keeping stuff back. He knows Bruno needed to come off. He knows he needed to come off because he moved him to the right wing. He absolutely knew Bruno was playing shit. And he knew he should have took him off because he took him out of Bruno's position and he put him on the wing. And he's got Antony, Rashford, Garnacho. He's got 3 wingers and he puts Bruno on the wing. To me, that's a manager who is scared to take Bruno off. There's something there because he might be scared to take him off because he thinks he's got a moment in him. He might be scared to take him off because he's worried about, the impact it's going to have in the dressing room. I don't know. But he knew he needed to take him off. If he didn't want to take him off and he thought he was doing well, he'd have kept him at number 10, but he put him on the fucking wing when we've got other wingers. So for me, you can't do that as a manager. So yeah, it's a low mark. Man of the match is Mazraoui. Delo got 17%. Agate was in 3rd place with 12%. Then it's various others. Look, Mazraoui, I think, is one positive that just keeps occurring every week. I know we don't feel like positives at the moment, but he does keep showing up every week with his consistency. So, fair play to him for that. Apparently, we've got Leicester City in the cup. Home or away? I think we're at home. A few people saying Delo. Bruno only made 1 key pass all game, says Duncan. That's surely got to be his lowest over 90 minutes. Leicester in the next round, says Effie. I was shouting and celebrating when we signed Ten Hag, but I can't keep talking about what I think other top managers would do in his spot at United, says Connor. Look, you know what? We've got a technical director. We've got a director of football. If they're not sitting him in a room tomorrow and saying, why didn't you take Bruno off? And if he gives a shit answer and you end up sacking him, then the next manager can't do the same thing. I think one of the big problems with sacking Man United managers is that we're on a cycle. We're on a cycle of favouritism. The next manager might do the same thing. So whether Ten Hag stays or not, there is a bigger issue at Man United that's been going on for 10 years where certain players just seem to have too much influence. And that needs to change. That does need to change. Because what's the point in getting a new manager and then we're saying the same thing? Oh, certain players can't be subbed again. We're at home. Thank you very much. Right, let's get over to the fan forum because they're waiting for us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We're back on the morning show at 10 o'clock, but we've got the fan forum now. Tune in. Let me see who's on the fan forum for you because I can have a look in the back system. We've got... who we got? Some of you gone already. Got Ricky, Kev. They're ready to go. Oh, imagine what Ricky's going to have to say.
We trade with Exness because we can trade as fast as we can click. We can make bold decisions when everything is on the line. Trade with faster execution. Exness, born to trade.
Download Glovo. Order food, groceries, flowers, diapers, electronics, or anything you want, we'll deliver in minutes.
Ubase tugodigana sio roka nene rushukiroko thank you muno
we mwathani wigwa ngirathini thani kautangiuka hatari gutumana atika kamiji kare kega niko gataranyenda tondie kanyamu ingioyo mwathani njiguiraga ndumira mundu baba na tondu wanyumbire ta andu aria angi wombire ri acio ndiragwetera waha mena makari mena manyumba manene ri mwathani urandukie ndumira muraika baba ndumira mundu tu tondu wi ngai tondu nguga ati ndigũcithura rĩ ngũcoka njage gũcithura ndĩrĩrĩa kĩhũa-inĩ angĩkorwo wende kwenda kũrĩa cia ngũkũ rĩ tikaba niĩ ngĩrĩ we no wetire tondu no wagĩthiĩ ũguo no wona kanyamũ niĩ
haya Mwangi
kari we
nĩkĩ wendete kwĩyarĩria ũguo
tikwĩyarĩria nĩ rĩrĩ ndĩgũtarania maũndũ
aba ngite haha
haya
kanyamũ ndakũrehera nĩ mũgĩte ũgakoko matheri
thengio
mbembe nĩ ciaki kĩroko gĩkĩ na mboco
thengio ndĩrenda kũhagĩra gatheri
kĩroko gĩkĩ
nginya gathota nĩ wandirikana
ndũria atĩrĩrĩ
indo thaka
gĩtheri kĩroko gĩkĩ
gatheri rĩ gatheri katarĩ kona na mbembo harĩ irio ciothe kana we ndũthomaga kĩrĩa mabuku kũrĩa athomia mathomaga ũkauga gatheri nĩ kĩndũ kĩa bata
ndĩkendete mũno wethe we ona ndikuma gũo gatahĩte no nginya ngue kanini
niĩ gatheri rĩ kangenegeria rĩrĩ ndakaruga rĩ to nginya gakorwo akĩbatara maũndũ maingĩ gacumbĩ
gakendagwo gacumbĩ
karũgarũgia
ũkehũnĩra no ndwagĩkaruga tene mũno
no maũndũ marĩa ũnjĩkaga we Maka muthenya ũrĩa ngagĩa kanyamũ no nginya ngakũrĩha
ndũgatinda ũkĩmakania ũguo niĩ ndĩ mũrata waku na nĩ arata nĩ gũteithania
nĩ ma we wĩ mũrata
ĩni nĩ ngĩ mũrata waku
wĩ mũrata arĩa mũrata warĩa mataratagwo na ndame
na rĩu ngũria rĩ
nginya maembe
ĩni
ngai
mũcori maku
kaĩ wĩ mwega maya nĩ marĩa ma Mombatha
ĩni maya nĩ ma Mombatha borokire na nĩkũ yakwa
matikĩrĩ goro mũno kuma Mombatha
mũno rĩu rĩmwe nĩ cigite
ta rĩrĩ ngĩkĩrĩo nĩ bamĩrĩ ng'ima
no nĩ bamĩrĩ ng'ima na cia
nyiki
na wĩ wiki rĩu nĩ mathugũ ithano no wĩ ũguo
haiya nginya macungwa
na rĩu ngũria rĩ
na maembe kĩrĩa maya metagwo ma kagege
tambo tiga na maembe na macungwa
ona tiga nĩ kĩrĩa rĩ tiga nĩ gĩko ndĩ nakĩo rĩ ingĩakĩamba kũrĩa rĩmwe haha oro rĩu o tũkĩarangagia
we mbothikĩria mbotiga na maembe macio no ũkũrĩa na soda no ũkũnyua
no reke ĩno tuĩka gĩa tũtũ
ũkũnyuaga rĩu
kĩndũ kĩo nĩku gĩtikagĩrwo mũhũthia
aya kĩnyuaga korwo mwendaga kũnyua
ĩni
rĩu ngũkũragia atĩrĩrĩ korwo mũndũ ũtarathiĩ
mũgũnda ndingĩagũthiĩ
no ũgũthiĩ
nyuma kuo
arabu
rĩu ndakinya mathaa maya ndona atĩrĩrĩ mathaa macio nĩ mathiĩ mũno na ndagire mũndũ
arabu ngũria rĩ he kĩndũ kĩngĩ wathomete nĩ wathomete university
ĩni Kenyatta ĩno university rĩ ndĩkuo mĩaka ĩyo
ĩna Wathomeire kĩ?
Ndathomeire nyamũ ĩno nini ĩtagwo atĩa kaĩ kũriganĩrwo nĩ nginya na matukũ no magĩthire nĩ rĩu ndĩ na mĩaka igana kuma ndauma thukuru ĩyo na mĩaka ĩgũthiĩ oro mĩaka 7
ko nĩ wathiĩ ũrĩgaga gwetha wĩra nĩkĩ?
Wĩra nĩ njaragia o ndatwara handũ maratathi-rĩ ũgatuĩka atĩ ndirĩ qualified ngakĩrigwo atĩrĩrĩ kaĩ magĩcaragia arĩkũ
no tondũ ndina arata marutaga wĩra mena kĩrĩa-rĩ mangĩkũne wĩra nĩ ũkũgwethera wĩra o wothe ũrĩa mangĩona.
Wĩra ũcio nĩ ndĩũĩ biũ wa architect.
Wekĩte kĩrĩa kothi architect?
Architecture-rĩ nĩyo ndekĩte na nĩ ndekĩte wega.
Nĩwekĩte wega?
Wega biũ.
Nĩngũkũrĩria wĩra kũrĩ arata akwa tondũ ndina arata aingĩ mena kĩrĩa-rĩ mena mawĩra macio